Hello and welcome back to my channel. Hi if you're new here, hi if you're not. Today we're going to be reacting to problematic people saying wildly inaccurate and misleading things on the internet as per usual. You know the drill. If you enjoy this content, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Let's go ahead and jump into the first video.
Do you know what, guys? Until 2018, I didn't even know that something like coaching existed. So back then I was traveling around Australia and I was doing my farm works. I had to work on the banana farm to be able to stay in Australia.
Twins, we're both doing our makeup. Love that for us.
And this was the moment where I realized that my previous journey, success journey, career journey that I was thinking that I want to go on to is actually not the thing that I want to do. So back then I was believing that I actually want to study biomedicine because I loved science, I loved maths, and everyone was like, become a doctor, everyone think this is successful. So I even knew exactly which uni I want to go to in Austria, and I was just doing a gap year in between my A-levels and my studies so that I can live before I will have to study full-time for 8 years to get my doctors and pass my medicine exams. Then when I was traveling, I met people that were like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, and they had such fulfilling careers. They've been traveling, they've been loving their life. And this is something that I was so not used to living in Germany, because the people that I was surrounded by, they've been all just literally hating their lives from Monday to Friday.
All of them. Everyone who has a 9-to-5 job hates their life, in case you didn't know. And maybe you have a 9-to-5 job and you think,
Danielle, I don't hate my job.
You're lying. You hate it because the girlies on the internet said you do.
All of them have been complaining so often, so freaking much. Been all just waiting for the weekend, and then they just got drunk, and then they just recharged on one day, on Sunday, and then they were on the hamster wheel again. And the same, they were just wishing their lives away just to get on holidays, and then they got the holidays and they still have been unhappy. So when I met all those people that have been in all the different stages of life and they've been happy and had the fulfilling careers, this is why I realized, hey, success doesn't mean that you have a title that everyone thinks is successful, like for example medicine and being a doctor, but actually doing something that when you wake up, you're so ready for the day.
Yes, but you can do that in a traditional job. Can you believe it? I always empathize with these people because once I was in their position and I used to sort of like conform to this narrative that everyone who has a 9-to-5 job hates it, because I hated my 9-to-5 job. So I was essentially just projecting my experience onto other people. And I would actually love it if you love your 9-to-5 job. Let me know in the comments. What do you do and why do you love it?
You're loving the Mondays, you're loving what you're doing, and you actually don't want to retire. So I watch plenty of YouTube videos to find out what is actually your true dream career that you should go on to. I watch plenty of YouTube videos that are telling you how to find your dream career that you're truly passionate about. And I started to research, and I know exactly, it was like in the middle of the night, I literally couldn't sleep because I wanted to figure out what is it actually that I want to do. And then I found Tony Robbins. And I found coaching, and then I realized, what the heck, a job like this is out there. You helping people with personal development, with their life, with motivation, with overcoming their fears, and also at the same time you're meeting so many people. You can travel around the world, you can do it online. Part of it is marketing, part of it is content creation, which I loved already back then. This was the moment where I knew, hey, coaching is something that I want to do. So this was in 2018. And guess what? It took me 2 freaking years to actually start coaching. And if you would like to know why it took me 2 freaking years to actually start my coaching studies.
Coaching studies? Who's teaching you? Tony Robbins? Ay.
Even though I knew this is my dream career, then follow for part 2.
I mean, again, I get it. I was in her position in 2018 as well, but now that I'm on the outside of it all, it's like, as soon as I hear someone say, like, I found Tony Robbins and it changed my life, I'm like, run away as fast as you can. You're gonna enter a cult soon. Ay. Let me see if I can find part 2. I didn't actually have this in my spreadsheet, so give me a moment here.
A few moments later.
Okay, so it doesn't look like she got very much engagement on that video, so she never made a part 2, but there is this video which I thought was particularly interesting.
Hey guys, here's why I invested 40k into a mastermind 2 years ago, whilst only having 8k in my bank account and just leaving my full-time job. 2 years ago, I just left my full-time job where I was working in a coaching institute, and the reason was because I've realized that very shortly, this is not the lifestyle I want to have. Even though it was a position that I thought would be ideal for me, it wasn't, because I was just burnt out, as most people working there there and had no time for my relationship, for my health. So I knew it's time for me to go back into my business. But of course I was fearful, and mostly the reason why I was so fearful is because before I started to work for them, I was actually having a go at running my own coaching business. So I was learning how to be a coach 7 months before, and I started to run my coaching business, and I've realized that you have to hustle freaking a lot to get your paid clients, especially with the strategy I was using back then.
I mean, that's any business. You don't just start a business and people start buying stuff from you. If you start a business, you have to hustle to get clients, to get people to want to work with you, to buy from you, whether you're selling a product or a service. No one is owed anything. So if you're trying to build a business, there should be an expectation that there's going to be a lot of hard work, especially in the beginning.
And the strategy that I was using back then was free information gathering, using freebies, using YouTube videos, and just throwing shit at the wall, hoping something sticks. Which meant that then in 7 months of doing so much work for my business, I've only made 7K. So I knew that if this time I go back into my business, I definitely have to have a different strategy to make it work, because if not, why the heck am I quitting this? I will not be able to pay my bills, will not be able to create a career out of it, and I definitely need to make it work. So I knew this time I would have to definitely get some support, and I jumped into a call with a business coach, and I was very much prepared to invest into a program that will take me to the next step. And I was thinking it will be the program that this person had that was valued at 5K. Now, when I was on this call, this person actually offered me the big mastermind with the coaches that want to create 6 figures and 7 figures, because she thought that I was ready and as my goals matched to it.
Yeah, I'm sure she felt you were ready, aka she just wanted to get more money out of you, but okay.
And in this moment, guess what? Of course I wanted to chicken out. I don't think I have to explain why I want to chicken out with telling you before how much I had on my bank account and how much I've earned before in my business. Here are the reasons why I actually still did it. Number one, you attract who you are, not what you want. Same attracts same, and that's why I knew that if I don't invest straight away into this program right now, I can't expect my clients to overcome their fears, to commit into it, to invest whatever it is a stretch for them, because I am not doing it myself.
Okay, but my question is, when it comes to this, like, in my opinion, false narrative that you have to invest in order to like reach the next level, is like, why do we have to stretch ourselves? So she's saying my clients won't invest and won't stretch themselves if I don't stretch myself. Why can't we all just charge reasonable prices and be comfortable paying those reasonable prices? Like, the logic is, it's not there for me.
I knew if I don't commit, I will not attract clients that are ready to commit. Number two, burning all the boats. There was no other way for me than just to make it work. No matter what, I needed to make it happen.
Okay, sorry, I keep pausing it, but this to me is what I think really perpetuates like people compromising their morals and their ethics in order to make money. When we burn the boats, aka we quit our job before we're ready, we have financial responsibilities we need to come up with money for. In my opinion, it's much more likely that we're going to make decisions that perhaps we wouldn't if we weren't under such significant pressure. So for example, back when I was a coach, I was in a pretty privileged position. I lived in my mom's house and my rent was like $300 a month. And then after that, my partner at the time and I moved into a different place. But again, our rent was like $800 split between the two of us. So at no point was I ever in a position where I needed to come up with, thousands of dollars in order to be able to get by. And so I think one of the reasons I never really followed these principles of, charging tens of thousands of dollars for my services is quite frankly because I wasn't in a desperate position where I needed to make a ton of money. Also, as I've mentioned in other videos, like money isn't a huge motivator for me, which is a story for another day. But the point I'm trying to make here is that it sounds to me like this individual essentially put herself in a position where she was desperate, for lack of a better term, to make money, and therefore would do whatever it took in order to make that money.
Which meant that for me, in the next months, I just needed to overcome any fears that came along the way. Every time when I felt like, oh, I don't want to do it, and my fears came up, and my insecurities came up, and my doubts came up, I had no time for those. I had no space in this mind to think about those. I just had to go and do the stuff. I just had to break through the glass ceilings. I had to lean towards the resistance. And I could not give up, even if I wanted to so freaking often. And because of that, I've been able to create 6 figures in 7 months just because I literally had to. No financial advice, but do with the story, this information, whatever you want.
Exactly. So she literally said the quiet part out loud. Exactly what I assumed. So again, I think that's part of the danger that comes with this narrative of like,
Get a line of credit, put it on a credit card, you'll make back your investment. You have to invest if you believe in yourself, etc., etc.
Because it puts people in not only financially really stressful situations, but again, positions in which they might make decisions that they wouldn't otherwise make if they weren't under that significant amount of pressure. Again, just my opinion. I would love to hear what you think in the comments down below. Also, as a reminder, while we move through this video, I do have an entire playlist of all of my other reaction content if you're interested in catching up on that. And if you have content you want me to react to, the form in which you can submit that information is linked in the description down below. Now let's get into the next video.
Okay, y'all really need to understand this, but you never lose money. You only gain things of value. The only time money leaves my bank account is when I have the belief that what I'm exchanging it for is more valuable than money itself. Because do not forget, money itself has no value. It literally by itself is worthless. It represents value. So when you go to the grocery store and you buy hot dog buns and sausages and mustard and whatever the heck you buy, you don't lose 50 bucks. You gained things of value represented by 50 bucks. So can you not see from this perspective that even spending money is actually super abundant, because every time you do it, you are gaining something of value. Likewise, every time you offer something of value, that is exchanged for money. You earn money. That's so abundant. So the money circulatory wheel, the circulatory nature of money, is so abundant in and of itself. Whether you are exchanging something of value or whether you are offering money in exchange for something of value, it's all abundance. So if you only remember this for the rest of your life, it will completely transform your relationship to money and your scarcity programming. But every time you spend money, you don't lose anything. You only gain something that you perceive to be valuable.
Okay, so I only included this video because I have a suspicion that it's this kind of rhetoric that leads people to justify the absurd prices that they charge for their courses and their programs, because they basically just want you to believe that
you're not spending $10,000 investing in my mastermind. You are receiving $10,000 in value,
which is problematic in itself. And I've talked about this in other videos, but a lot of these people believe that like, because money isn't real and the value of money isn't real, all you have to do is like be more confident and that will equate to the extra value that your clients received, which again is super problematic in my opinion. But I just wanted to include this video for that specific reason, because I think that these are like the mental gymnastics that these type of people will use on themselves to convince them that they're justified in charging these, in my opinion, absurd prices.
I took the weekend off my 9-to-5 and social media, and I was still able to make 4 figures in 3 days, not touching my phone at all. I was able to make this money passively, which means I had to do no work on my end, that everything was already done for me through automated systems that I have previously set up in place to set me up for success. Specifically because I know you guys always ask in my comments, how do I actually make the money? Where does the money come from? This money that I'm talking about that I made passively over the past 3 days has come from my digital products that are linked in my Stan store. So this income that I'm talking about here is not any of the coaching services that I offer. It is all for my digital products. So specifically my Pin to Profit Pinterest marketing course. This is why I preach it's so important to create your own digital products and sell your own digital products no matter what niche you're in, because it's literally passive income. You create the product once and you can sell it as many times over. You can make money while you sleep. You can make money while you're taking time off work. You can make money literally doing whatever once you create these products. Truthfully, creating digital products for whatever niche you're in or whatever industry you're in is a total game changer for creating passive income that is sustainable. It allows you to make money while you sleep, while you eat, while you're maybe at your 9-to-5 with such minimal effort, and it is continued ongoing income, which is crazy. If you have no idea how to create a digital product or what to sell or what would sell in your industry or anything like that, I do have a guide in my bio there. It takes you through step by step on how to actually create a digital product that sells and makes you money while you sleep, which is a total game changer for whatever business or niche you may be in.
So meta to me. It's like I sold a digital product and I made some money. So now I sell a digital product teaching you how to sell a digital product. Okay, couple things to unpack here. And again, I've talked about these concepts in other videos of mine. Passive income is a thing. It is a real thing where you build an audience, you create a product, you sell that product passively. I have passive income products that sell without me having to show up and promote them. True. However, a few things that a lot of these videos tend to brush over is the fact that in order to successfully sell digital products passively, you need to have already nurtured and built a pretty significant size audience in a specific subject. So for example, again, if we come to me, I've been creating content over on TikTok since late 2020, talking about, being a small business owner in Canada. Through that, I've been able to build authority, literally posting like once, sometimes twice every single day for almost 3 years, building authority in that space as someone who understands and knows and shares information on Canadian small business. Now, as a result, I've been able to sell an online course, again, passively teaching other Canadians how to start a business. Now, the point I want to make here is that I haven't gotten rich selling that product. Again, there are probably multiple factors that play into why that is. One of them being it's a pretty niche subject to talk about. But really, I think the reality is that the chances of you making thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars selling these digital products passively, regardless of what niche you're in, are very, very small. There are few people that will be super successful, and I don't doubt that they are super successful. I'm not saying that these people are lying about how much money they're making, but I think if we think about it realistically, the chances of everyone being able to make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars selling digital products, it's just not going to happen unless we all have these massive audiences that absolutely love us and want to buy every single thing we sell. And so the funniest example of this, and again, this is completely anecdotal and I'm not trying to out anyone in particular, was an individual who I may have mentioned in a previous video of mine quite some time ago, who got started as a UGC creator, and she was making, $5,000 a month creating UGC content for brands. And so she put together a $50 guide teaching other people how to get started doing UGC. Totally fine. I have no problem with people doing that. However, what happened was she had a TikTok go viral where she was talking about, how much money she made doing UGC. And she ended up making like $20,000 or $30,000 in a single day selling this $50 digital product. Amazing, awesome for her. And again, the likelihood of that happening to everyone, not very high. However, the problem I have is what she did after that moment was, instead of continuing to teach people about UGC, she now sells a digital product, teaching other people how to get rich selling a digital product, when again, the reality is the chances of every single person who takes that course going viral and making that $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in a day is not very likely. But you're sold on this dream. And that is the big red flag that I always talk about in the coaching industry specifically, is if it sounds too good to be true, it sounds like you're being sold on this unrealistic sort of result, the chances are you probably are. Not to say that if you build a digital product, you're not going to get rich. Maybe you will, but the likelihood of it happening to everyone is just not there. And I think it really gets oversimplified with videos like this where they want to convince you otherwise. So long-winded way of telling you, be careful of what you see on the internet. If it sounds like it's too good to be true, it just might be. Now, before we get into the next video, I do want to give a quick shout out to my channel VIP members. Thank you so much for being here. If you're interested in learning more about my membership, you can click the join button down below.
Here are the pivots that I made to go from a server to a 7-figure CEO. Stage 1, I was a server. I was scrolling Instagram, watching other people live the dream life that I'd always wanted, just knowing that I had the ability to make more impact and more income. Stage 2, I took my love for fitness and got educated to be able to help other women to love it just as much as I did when it came to lifting weights and mastering relationships with food.
Okay, 20 bucks says we're going to have a fitness to business coach pipeline showing up in 3, 2, 1.
Stage 3, I was offered an opportunity to become a co-coach inside of another fitness business coaching mastermind where I helped other students to learn and build their business just the way I did. Stage 4, I took opportunities to learn more and more about sales and ended up becoming a high-ticket phone closer, selling packages of anywhere between $5,000 to $20,000. Stage 5, I took that experience in sales and created my own sales consulting company to teach other people to master sales the way that I had. Stage 6, I knew that I wanted to teach more than just sales and ended up transitioning into becoming a business consultant to teach everything from marketing, sales, teams, systems, and more. Today, I am a 7-figure CEO who specializes in helping people to start and scale their businesses online. None of this would have been possible without being open to pivoting.
Okay, I don't know this individual, so I can't really speak to her specific offers and whether or not she legitimately knows what she's talking about. But I mean, I will give her the benefit of the doubt and say that if you were selling packages at $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, whatever she said, you probably learned some pretty good skills that you could teach to other business owners. But again, like I mentioned in so many of my videos, I think it always comes to intention. Are those $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 packages you're selling actually worth that? Are you using ethical sales practices? Are you teaching people high pressure sales tactics? Those would be the things that I would really want to know to determine whether or not there's validity in her content. But again, I don't know this person. I don't know what they sell. Just things and questions that I have about her offers, I guess. Okay, so next up we have some screenshots from some Instagram carousel posts. So this one says, how I made back my investment in my mentor's mastermind in 2 weeks. So I think this kind of ties really well into the first woman that we looked at, who was talking about this idea of, I have to invest high ticket in order to receive high ticket or to make my money back. And the only way to be successful in business is to invest a ton of money to try and be successful. Okay, interesting. This says the opposite. It says, for starters, I didn't invest looking to make my money back. I invested because I wanted the support, I desired it, and it made sense for me to be supported at this level based on where I was at and where I was going. I also didn't come in with the expectation for her to fix or solve anything for me. I was deeply plugged into my personal power and not looking to be saved. I wanted to be expanded, challenged, and plugged into her frequency, and that immediately took any pressure off needing a quick fix result. I didn't try to squeeze all the juice. I didn't bombard her with 47 messages every day about every little thought I had because I wanted to get the most out of the coaching. I chilled, I relaxed, I plugged in a lot, but with the mindset of this is what I need support for right now and what's coming up for me that I genuinely want another perspective on. Okay, quick question. Do we think that this particular slide is her passive aggressive way of telling her own clients,
don't send me 1,000 messages a day. Don't try and bombard me. I'm not your babysitter. I'm not here to solve all your problems.
I only ask this because if you are someone who is sort of involved in the coaching industry, knows what's going on, you may or may not have seen, because I have seen this, coaches kind of, again, passive aggressively talking about,
this is not what I'm here for. I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm just here to, be the guiding light that you want to become.
Or whatever, some fluffy BS. But it's basically a way to not take responsibility for the fact that they're not teaching you anything valuable, in my opinion. So I'm just curious, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think that this is her passive aggressive way of being
Well, I don't even ask my coach questions, so don't bother asking me.
I remained fully present in the coaching container and took action fast. Even when things came up, I stayed plugged in, asked for support, and actually implemented what she coached me on. And when I say I took action, I mean I took action. I moved on every little thing I uncovered, standing in the way. I cleaned up things immediately. I showed the fuck up and sold the things I'd been sitting on for months. I was fearless. I didn't try to shortcut anything. I just did it. Okay, again, I'm reading this and I feel like she's saying a whole lot of nothing. It's word salad. I moved on every little thing. I did stuff and I said I was going to do stuff and I was scared, but I did stuff anyway. And yeah. It's okay, but what are you saying? What are the things you actually did? What was the action you took? You're not really telling me anything. You're saying a lot of stuff without really saying anything at all. So then this was the caption. And last point, I trusted myself to invest no matter what. Oh, gross. It wasn't about getting a return, but about who I became in the process of it, which I always understood to be the biggest return on investment anyway. Again, mental gymnastics. These people will tell themselves to justify the absurd prices that they're spending. They either go one of two ways, I find. It's you invest $10,000 in order to up-level your business to $10,000 and beyond, or you invest $10,000 to get the most amazing mindset that's going to propel you to your next level self, blah, 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 blah. We talk about this a lot. These not tangible results that all of these people claim to get from their coaching. But when we're building a business, our focus from someone who has owned a real business outside of coaching should be on building our revenue, not on building our positive mindset about how good we feel about ourselves and our business. Because at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but I have actual bills to pay and my bank isn't going to take my positive mindset as a reason why I can't pay my mortgage. Okay, so the sound is off on this one, obviously, but it reads, 1 minute we are all at house parties screaming, we ain't never getting older, and the next minute we are building 6- and 7-figure businesses. Are we though? Is that what we're doing? I'm really confused as to how these two are related. So 1 minute I'm at a house party and now I'm building a 6-figure business. Where is the correlation there,
Also, if you go to house parties and you aren't focused on building your 6- to 7-figure business, you're a loser.
What? Okay, caption says, it's time for you to lean in and allow me to help you build that business. That's giving me the same vibes as, move that bus.
Bus driver, move that bus.
If I'm being honest, this program isn't for everyone. So pop quiz, ready? Take out a number 2 pencil and let's figure out if is a good fit. I'm assuming that's her program. JK about the pencil, just follow along. Ready? If you check more than 3 of the following cues, this program is going to be absolutely perfect. Chef's kiss for you. Deep down, you know you would be 10 times more efficient if you were constantly staying organized, but you don't know where to start. Don't worry, we have a system for that. You've tried other programs, coaches, and DIY methods of growing your business, but you've outgrown those systems. More than anything, you just need someone to give you a proven process that takes you step by step through methods that work and finally get you to a flowing, well-oiled machine of a 6-figure business. If anyone is promising you a 5-step, 6-step, 10-step system that's going to guarantee you 6 figures, run away. No, 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 no. Again, I feel like a broken record at this point, but as someone who has been in business for 5+ years now, no 2 businesses are the same. You cannot copy what I did in my business. Even if you lived in the same area, we're offering the exact same service, you are not guaranteed the exact same success as me because we are not the same people. Our businesses are not the exact same. It just doesn't make sense. If processes like this work, why wouldn't there be multiple Apples, multiple Teslas, multiple Googles, businesses that have been super successful in building essentially empires? If business was truly copy paste, follow my 5 steps, why aren't there multiple of these like large conglomerates? That's what I want to know. If you are a busy online coach intent on living a full life and you put a premium on your time, you need a way to grow your business that's efficient, measurable, strategy-based, and straightforward. You have massive goals for your business, but you also want to do cool shit and actually be able to play outside once in a while, not just be a laptop head. Believe me, I get it. That's why everything in the program is unfuckable. This is just so gross to me and inaccurate. It's like, if any of you have ever built a business, you know that like there's this running joke in the entrepreneurial community that I quit my 9-to-5 job to work 24/7. And while yes, you can scale to a certain point, like I'm able to kind of take time off whenever I want, but usually I have to make up for that somewhere else. So if I take, for example, this week, I'm taking Friday off, I still gotta make up for that time that I would be doing the work on Friday at some other point during the week. I don't just get to like not work ever again and keep making all of this money. I promise not to peek at your answers if you promise to be honest Scout's honor. Less than 3, then it might be best to skip the program for now. 3 or more? Dude, bro, this was made for you. Come join us this fall. This is like so different from the other copy I've seen in most of these coaches. Like most of them are like,
well, queen, hey, girl boss, what's up, babe?
And this girl's out here calling us dude bro. What does that even mean? What if you had a way to scale to 6 figures, work just 24 hours per week, and have the location freedom you desire? It's time to kiss the Hot Mess Express biz version owner of you goodbye. Here's how you're going to do it. You're going to increase your prices to $5,000 per person, and you're just going to offer them 1 call a month. I'm just kidding, but that's probably not too far off what she's going to teach you. It's time to surround yourself with a group of like-minded stokers ready to chew bubblegum and kick some ass. And we're all out of bubblegum. What is happening? Your fat ass paycheck and 24-hour work week is just 6 months from reality. What are you waiting for? Go apply now. Spots are filling. Link in bio. Got questions? DM me anything holding you back. I'm here. Gross. Okay. First of all, again, the copy, what's happening? Second of all, please don't go sign up for this program. Oh my God. I feel like every time I make one of these videos, it just gets weirder and weirder. All right, friends. And on that note, that's going to be it for today's video. Again, if you have content you want me to react to, please submit it to the Google form linked down below. I hope you enjoyed this suffering together. If you did, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, take care, comb your hair, and I'll leave you with this video right here next. Bye!